Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Freedom Friday. We've made it to the end of the week, and I'm so glad about it. This truly is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it. I tell you, it's amazing to know that we've made it another week. Millions didn't make it, but we can say that we were one of the ones who did. So I am so grateful this morning for you to be a part of this amazing opportunity. I'm tagging a few people this morning, so I need for you to like, share, and tag someone this morning in this episode of remaining focused. So much is coming against us, but we want to talk about how are we going to remain focused in uncertain times? How are we going to remain focused in uncertain times? So those of you that are coming in that will catch us on the replay, I need for you to like, share, and tag someone in this episode, because I believe this is going to be the mantra of how we remain focused for the remaining of the year. I don't know where you currently live, but here on the East Coast, we are experiencing extreme coldness coming out of snow, getting ready to go into some more snow. But I'm thankful even in the midst of all the changes with the weather, I won't complain because we could be on the West Coast battling the fires. And many people have lost everything that they've ever worked for. It's literally gone up in flames. And so our prayers this morning is for those on the West Coast. God will hold back the hand of the wind so that the fires can cease. They're now getting ready to battle some mudslides in some of the areas where fires have come and ravaged the communities because of all the water they've had to use to put out the fires. And so, men, you have heard the saying, if it's not one thing, it's another. But we're yet praying for California that God will continue to hold back his hand and continue to keep them from any further damage. But I believe that God still has more for those in California. It looks like they may be out for the count, but don't you count them out, because even in the midst of catastrophe, God still has a plan for that. We trust and believe that God's hand is on their life. And despite what the government says, despite what they says they're going to hold them hostage to funding, I still believe God, that God's going to do great and mighty things. So let's get into our Freedom Friday. I'm not going to hold you long because like many of us, when we hit Friday, we ready to hit it and get it over with and get back home or get to our relaxation for the weekend. So how do we remain focused in 2025? We have to counsel out the noise and silence the voices of negativity. Let me say it again. You got to counsel out all the noise, and we've got to silence the voices of negativity. To stay focused means to direct your attention and energy toward a specific goal or task. Without being easily distracted, it involves clarity, knowing what and who, knowing who or what you want to achieve and why. It includes discipline, prioritizing tasks, resisting distraction, consistency, taking steps toward your goals daily, and mindfulness, being present and fully engaged in the moment. So the challenge of staying focused is like many of us, some days we do endless scrolling through Facebook, through social media, through TikTok, through Instagram. We scroll through sometimes not with a purpose in mind. We may get stopped on a post. They may get us distracted. We start to scroll through the comment section. We start to see all the negativity. And then we get drawn in to comment on those comment sections. And what I find for myself, and I know I've been guilty, I've done it myself, is to comment on something because I didn't like the comment. I didn't like who it was targeted to. I didn't like the post. And sometimes we lose focus getting caught up in all the drama. But sometimes the statement can be true or it cannot be true. Great morning, Katina. But sometimes we get caught up in that negativity or that voice of negativity. And we get drawn into that pose and we find ourselves like a hamster on a wheel commenting on things we have knowledge of, but sometimes it's not in our best interest. And sometimes we want to stay focused. We got to learn how to cut through the path, cut through that side street, and don't go down the highway today just to avoid the negative voices. You've got to identify the noise. What is that noise? Is the noise in your head? Is it notifications, comparisons to other people, expectations you have set of yourself? What is pulling your attention away from your goals? What's keeping you distracted? Write these things down. And once you've identified them, you can start creating boundaries for yourself, like setting specific times for social media and limited access to negativity in your environment. So, for example, we're getting ready to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on Monday, the 20th. That is also the inauguration. And many of us, we want to cancel out all that negative energy that's going to be given on Monday. So I choose not to tune in to the inauguration. That's my choice. Donald Trump is not my president. He's president for those who voted for him, but he's not my president. And so I'm not going to focus my attention on all that negative energy on Monday. I'm going to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all his accomplishments. So we got to choose to celebrate and not give in to the noise. You got to confront the voices of negativity in your head. You've got to contend with the voices in your head that's telling you you can't handle it. You are what they say you are. You're not going to come out of this. Good morning, Nikki. You're not going to come out of it. You're not capable. Can we flip the script and begin to tell ourselves, I can do all things through Christ, which gives me the strength? I'm more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You got to begin to cancel the voices and create a new voice in your head that affirms who you are. I am healed. I am delivered. I'm set free from whatever bounds you, whatever voice captivates your brain and activity of your mind. Begin to take authority over that voice and begin to replace it with positive affirmations. And the truth will literally set you free. You got to build a focused environment. In other words, you got to create a focused environment that starts with you surrounding yourself with people and spaces that align with your goals. If you're trying to stay focused, you can't be around constant chaos. You can't be around negative people and negative thinking. You've got to create an environment and say, hey, listen, not today, not in this environment. You can't come into this space because this space that I have created right here, only positive things are going to happen. Now, does that mean that life is not going to happen? Absolutely, life is going to happen. Life is going to life. But what I need for you to understand that whatever God allows to happen in your life at this present moment, trust and believe that God has a plan for it. So you've got to begin to find a space that's simply that you and God create. Create a space that you invite God to come into that space and say, God, I give you complete authority to take complete control over this space and all the negativity that wants to invade this space. So you got to find people that will encourage you. And then you got to spend time. I saw a post the other day. It said, if you spend 15 minutes of reading your word, 15 minutes in prayer, 15 minutes in worship, and 15 minutes in journaling, you spend 1 hour with God. 15 minutes of reading your Bible, 15 minutes of worship, 15 minutes of prayer, and 15 minutes of journaling, and not in that particular order. You have spent 1 hour with God. So if you want to create a pattern of how to stay focused, do that. That's a starting point. because we have to find purpose in everything. So how will I stay focused this year? Take some time to identify your distractions, replace negative thoughts with positive truth, and create an environment supporting your goals. You have everything it takes to succeed. You just need to stay focused. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made this statement. He said, faith is taking the step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Sometimes we don't see the whole thing, but this speaks of staying focused on the journey, even when the path seems unclear. We're getting ready to embark upon some unclear days and some uncertain times. But I declare today that God's plans for your life are clear. That God's plans for your life has a focus attached to it. God has things that he's called you to do in this earth realm, and you can't die before they're finished. So I need for you to stay focused on the plan of God for your life. What did God say? Good morning, Pastor Moffitt. What did God say concerning your life? And if you can't remember it, write it down and begin to visit the purpose and the plan of God for your life. And begin to tell yourself, God, this is what you said I was going to do this year. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish it, but God, I believe you. Now show me how to walk this thing out. Show me how to walk it out, because you have to be intentional in your alignment of your time, your energy, your priorities. You got to foster growth, purpose, and balance. But I need for you to lock in this year, lock in, stay plugged in to what God has called you to do. Because if you stay locked into God's plan for your life, everything that God has for you, it would happen. Now, I have decided the first quarter of this year that I'm locking in financially. I'm not going to spend unnecessarily. I'm locking in because there's some things I want to do. I'm not determined. I'm not going to work till I'm 70. I'm not going to work till I'm 65. I have a plan of where I want to be. So this year, I have switched some new financial goals. I've brought in a financial coach to deal with some life planning, retirement. My family won't have to struggle to bury me. I have life insurance, but I'm looking at some different financial plans for my life. I'm building a financial portfolio in this first quarter of the year so that I don't have to focus about that anymore. All I got to do now is sit back and let it begin to build its own. I'm determined that I'm not going to spend frivolously. I'm going to cook more, and I have been since the years come in. You've got to start making some intentional plans for your life. What did God say concerning your life? Because I believe that God has a plan with your name on it. Don't get distracted by what everybody else is saying. I believe you can get some great things. Katina, yeah, I would definitely inbox me, DM me, and I'll send you the information. So I am moving. I'm building. I need for you to build. Lock in. Because I believe God has more than enough for your life. Whatever God has for your life, I believe it comes with great purpose. Whatever God's going to do for you, he's going to do it in 25. This is the ending of our Freedom Friday, and I want you to go back and reshare this post. I want you to like, share, and tag, because I believe there was some nuggets shared today that be life-changing, that's going to be impactful. But whatever God has for your life, lock in this year and let you and God walk this thing out, because I believe God has a blessing with your name on it. But you need to lock in and let God do the rest. You know my mantra every Friday. No one's told you today. Let me be the first to tell you I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Live life and live life on purpose. Have an amazing Friday, because I believe there's a blessing with your name on it, and it starts today. I'll see you next Friday at the same time.